It has been a long while since I have posted anything to my YouTube channel that was meaningful content. We're going to end that today with a tour, start up and look at my 1969 Volkswagen Beetle. The story behind this car was sold new here in Gulfport at Glass Volkswagen, which is no longer around, of course. But the gentleman bought it new there, serviced it there regularly. I have a stack of paperwork about that thick for it, along with the original bill of sale and invoice. And it has been a Harrison County car its whole life. In 1995, about 100,000 miles, the original engine gave out. And he paid two of the techs from the dealer to install a rebuilt motor in it. And it's got about 13,000 miles on that rebuilt motor. In 1999, he parked it, and it sat in his climate-controlled garage for the next 24 years, till June of this year, when he was selling the property and needed it gone, and we drove the 12 miles up there and drug it back down here to Gulfport again. It is still a Harrison County car. When I got it, it still had the original 1969 Mississippi title, all of the service documentation, as well as two sets of original keys, which is really cool. This smaller one with the extra bit sticking off was for the doors and ignition, while this big one was for the engine compartment. You can see here, that little protrusion actually gives you some better leverage. Has the classic squeeze to open Volkswagen door, and it sounds just like a Volkswagen when you shut it. Gas tight doors. That needs a little grease. We'll go ahead and fire it up here and give you a little bit of a tour. One interesting thing is, if I turn the steering wheel to here, this is one of the oldest cars I have ever seen that has a steering wheel lock, which you can turn the car off with it disengaged. Focus. I do have the center cap of the steering wheel. It just likes to fly off whenever you hit the horn. This nice chromed horn ring. If we turn the key one position, we get full power with the generator and oil pressure warning lights. We'll give it 2 pumps there. I'll have to feather that accelerator a little bit to get it going. It actually starts pretty easily. It had a full tank of fuel in it when we got it home that had been sitting there for that long, and it just destroyed the fuel tank. So it's currently got a brand new fuel tank that is jerry-rigged in place. But, pedal box is a little small. Those are size 10 shoes. Of course, it is a 4-speed shifter on the floor, which is just as vague as you could imagine. Of course, reverse, you push down, over, and to the left, and you know you're in reverse when there's no play and it pops up. Of course, we got the parking brake down here in the middle. Go ahead and turn on the headlights, with the marker lights being the first position and full bore the second. Brights are located here on the steering wheel. The hazards are this little switch down here. We'll go ahead and take a look at the exterior. It is a beautiful car, cosmetically. He had it completely repainted, and it's still beautiful paint. Not a speck of rust anywhere on it. The engine's under a little bit of load and it's not wanting to run quite right. 1.5 liter flat 4, which produces about 50 horsepower. This car was also auctioned with dealer installed air conditioning around 1974. Belt is not currently installed, however, compressor does turn, so who knows if that works. It does have the original oil bath air cleaner and single barrel Solex carburetor with the original style diaphragm fuel pump, as well as a trailer hitch, which is really funny. I always thought these sounded like an angry swarm of hornets that just hit puberty chasing you. It is just a beautiful car underneath. Jack points are still solid. Of course, the windows are all fully manual, and that one especially takes some effort to wind. You also do have one of my favorite features in older cars, which is the wind wings. We'll go ahead and shut her up here. It's not horribly loud in here, of course. Looking over the interior, you have this big black plastic tunnel which is underneath, which is for the air conditioning, which the fan on it still works well. If you turn this one, you can hear the condenser fan motor running. Of course, you got your turn signals, which the stock is made out of metal and is exceedingly overbuilt for the task. Up above, you have some dry rotting sun visors and a dimming mirror right there. Over in your center stack, you have your windshield wipers, 2-speed, with your wash being in the center, powered by the air in your spare tire. The aforementioned headlight control, which is spinning. There's also the panel dimmer for the single gauge pod in the center with your speedometer and fuel gauge in the center, along with your odometer and a smattering of warning lights. Radio underneath, single speaker over here on this side of the dash.
Facebook even existed.
Which it
I love the girl who cares what's good.
These are some fresh air ventilation for both sides. And then you have your hazard light switch and the ashtray down here. The switch right that would be right here would be for the rear window defrost. The square in the center is the warning light test for the dual circuit brakes. We're losing light here, so I'll open the door to show you this. Under here are the heater controls, since it is an air shroud around the engine. And this is your temperature and air volume, which when I did that, I just felt heat coming out from somewhere. Oh, right there. It's this switch up here controls where that air comes out, whether it's coming out at the feet or not. And this would be there is a matching one on this side. also have out your defrost vents there. Down here in the center, which is a little broken on this car, is the 3-point seatbelt latch. It's just a plastic cover. This nearly phallic object comes out and goes down into that space there. So we'll go ahead and shut her down. Turn off the headlights. Take a look at the rest of the vehicle. We do have the funny warning sticker there saying that it is 12 volts, because I think 68 was the first year of that. It is the original interior upholstery, but it is sadly dry rotted around the edges. Your seat adjustments include a forward-backward lever, which is right there. Then your backrest adjustment, which is done by rotating that. Flipping this little switch up and pushing it forward is how you get into the rear seat, which under here is where the battery is on the other side, as well as a modest amount of cargo space behind the seat back, and a grab handle and your dome light. It only has a little sticker here saying that it conforms to safety and emissions, while the VIN plate is up here on the dash. Of course, it is airtight, so it's a little bit difficult to shut the doors. Now that the engine's not running, give you one better look at it without all the racket going on. There we go. Focus iPhone. Since it is a 69, it has the medium-sized taillights, not quite as small as the tiny little ones from the 50s and early 60s, but not quite as big and honking as the Super Beetles and the later ones into the 70s. Driver door pocket, or passenger door pocket, was an optional extra, which came with the new door cards that I installed that came with the car. Another thing that was an optional extra was an ashtray on the other side. This one, of course, only has one over here. It also has a defrosting rear window, which is funny. Nice headliner. Losing light fast. Passenger side, much the same as the driver. Inside the glove box, which is difficult to open, you have your lading information, as well as the release for the front hood. All you have to do is pull down on that. Pull out my current registration here. And there's the original warranty verification, as well as the original owner's manual, what the original title looked like, as well as all of the service stampings in the service book, which is really cool. 69 was the first year of the spring-loaded gas release, which is activated by a small handle on this side. It's very satisfying to remove this for some reason. Love the little Volkswagen emblem right there, and that little scoop is for cabin ventilation. Once you've released that catch in the glove box, hood opens to this position where you can then push the button on the front latch and pull the hood up. It's a little bit stuck to the weather stripping. Ooh. We did have one of those Mississippi thunderstorms yesterday. Currently, the fuel tank is a little bit jerry-rigged at the moment. There should be a panel right here to provide you a flat loading surface, and the spare tire here in the front. But when I installed the fuel tank, I made the mistake of kinking the fuel line by not making it quite long enough, so I have to redo that. And it's got fuel in it, so that tank isn't exactly light. So, but behind this little panel is all of the wiring behind the dash, as well as the heater box and the rubber gasket that goes around that. And down here's the brake master cylinder. Didn't close all the way, but latch in the glove box isn't catching. It's a pretty fun little car to drive. There we go. For all you nerds like me out there, that's what the inspection sticker looks like close up, as well as a manually retracting antenna. All right, everybody, thank you very much for watching. If you like dry rotted bias ply tires made in the German Democratic Republic, consider subscribing to the channel. If you don't like dry rotted bias ply tires, you don't have to. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you in the next one.